Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Internetland, YouTubers, Facebookers, Mountaineers, again, we're sticking with it until you guys come up with something better. If you don't like that, too bad. We're going to climb to the top. That was kind of cheesy. That works. But anyways, we're having another great episode of the Mountain Dew Review. And today, we have another one of my all-time favorites. I got to see him open for Little White like 8 years ago. Met several bands because they were featured on his album that everybody probably doesn't necessarily own, but you should, and we'll get into this. He's a master of many trades. He does several different things. His group name's Black Market Warriors, but he goes by Mr. White. And we're gonna dive in. I got him in here in town. He's got a show today. This is gonna air after it, but I was lucky enough to get him to stop by. He's come up from Red Oak. So we're going to dive in, find out about him, learn a little bit what's up. All you guys that give me shit about being a Cedar City boy, I finally got somebody on my team. So screw you guys. 712.
That's right. Sioux City actually has some fun shows up there, man. It's just a long drive.
It is. It's a boring drive.
Yeah.
Like, that's what sucks. And then the fact that when you come into town from here, it's the sewage plant. And then you get hit by that, and then the stockyard smell just doesn't paint a beautiful
Every
city.
time I went in, there was road construction coming off that bridge by the casinos and stuff. I was like, this sucks.
Always. But, you know, when you got casinos, you can fix your roads. I mean, fucking Nebraska. Who's past casinos now after the novelty?
Iowa isn't any better, man.
No, but you guys got fancy swirls on your overpasses and shit. Ours look like prison walls. Welcome to Nebraska, the good life. All right, so let's we're gonna just jump right in. My first question I always do to start off: where are you from? Where'd you grow up?
From Red Oak, Iowa. I was born in Colorado, but I've basically lived in Red Oak my whole childhood, my whole adult life. So
nice. Graduate high school?
Yeah, graduated from Red Oak in 07, so I'm getting old.
It's nice when I have my age people on here. I love you young guys, but seriously, when you guys talk about tapes, you have no idea what a tape is.
Oh, funny story about tapes. So when we first busted in doing music, we didn't have shit to record on. And so I went to our local pawn shop. It's now closed because it's a super small town, but we found a 4-track recorder. And so we would record on the cassette tapes. And my dad had a little shed, so we'd run an extension cord out there. So we would put our beats on a CD, on a little boombox I'd plug in, and we'd tape a microphone to it. And then we'd have a stage mic as well, and we'd stand in this little 8x8 shed. So we'd hit play on both of those, and we'd record our verses passing the mic around. So our finished product was a cassette, but our beats were on the CD.
That is awesome. And little do you know how expensive them CDs were. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. That is the coolest. So I did an interview with Comatose, and he did his off a karaoke machine with a wired telephone receiver.
Oh, okay.
And so between you two have probably some of the most unique
I would say
forms of recording.
Later we upgraded. We actually got a really old HP computer, but we had one of those little boomstick computer mics back when you had to have a computer mic and a webcam separate. Yep. So we used the computer mic, and we got a PC, but it was still not much of an upgrade. But we were able to burn them onto a CD at that point.
That's awesome. That's so funny, because some of these kids talk about, oh, I had to do, and it was such a archaic program to use on the computer. I just get a kick out of when you hear old school stuff like this. Yeah. It's so dope. Another cool guy that had an awesome story, Mr. Gates, he recorded one of his first tracks for one of his first CDs he released in a cemetery because that was the quietest place you could find. It's like, I mean, I'm telling you, you guys, you local guys come up with some unique ways.
You gotta do what you gotta do. I mean, I lived in a trailer growing up, so we didn't have a lot of room, so that's why we utilized that shed. So there's just enough room for about 2 or 3 of us to stand in there, and you just kind of close the door. We drilled a hole, ran an extension cord, and we
got our ass whooped for drilling that hole.
No, my dad gave us permission, so
that's
he
cool.
was really cool about it.
So
he didn't like our music, but he let us do what we needed to do.
He encouraged you to at least express yourself in an art form. That's pretty dope.
I would say we couldn't grow grass in our backyard for 4 years because we backyard wrestled every day in high school. So
now that is what's up. I split my ear here because my dickhead brother Justin talked me into let him hit me in the head with a flaming 2x4 wrapped in barbed wire. Wrestling may not be real and predetermined. The bumps are real, but backyard wrestling, we're dumb, and that shit's real. Yeah,
I have many concussions to prove
we let the guy slam us because we try not to. It's to make it look cool, but Lord Jesus, you don't know how to fall when you're a backyard wrestler.
You learn quick, especially when you continue in the winter.
And hence why I was able to slam at 85 miles an hour and only break my thumb. I tucked in nice and tight. That's awesome. So that's cool. You used to backyard wrestle. That's,
all the time. Yeah.
I totally dig it because I help out with Smoke Breaks Russian Leg Sweep podcast, and that reminds me of a story. Again, with my dickhead brother, I had him painting with me on a job at Beveridge Junior High Elementary School, and we were redoing their art room or their performance arts center, and we're on the stage, and there's like 10 of our painters and my brother down there. My brother's just bragging about how he used to beat me up wrestling, this, that, or other, trying to make himself look cool. Yeah. And me and this other guy are standing on the stage, and I tap him. I said, "Man, watch this." He goes, "What?" I said, "I'm going to show this smart mouth something." I go running up this 6-foot ladder, standing on the stage, and I just come flying on top of my brother, and boom, we coupled to the ground. Yeah, the superintendent didn't like it, and I was banned from that job site.
Honestly, yeah, it's
but it was fun.
Speaking of dickhead brothers, he was always making fun of us. I put him basically the task mission, and I just had it locked in, but I didn't have any pressure, and he was still shit talking, so I choked him out one time in my dad's hallway. So
yeah, I think my brother's done that to me, and I've done that to him, and that's always the thing. You're right. Shh, don't tell Mom.
Oh, he just fell limp. He bounced back about 30 seconds later.
That is awesome. And there's also a good thing that we're probably happy there weren't cameras like this relevantly available then, because our parents probably would have been whooping our ass.
Yeah, so we're in that fine age group where we have the stuff before all the modern technology, but we grew up with it, so now at our old age we know how to use most of it.
Exactly. So, you guys with your little cameras, I remember my big old one.
Oh yeah.
Trust me, we had some films like that, but it was a lot easier to hide.
I lost them in one of my moves, but we used to have every tape we did of backyard wrestling, and they were on VHS. Like, I remember my kid thought a VCR was the coolest thing because you could rewind it when he was little, because I still had to have one to rewatch some of the old wrestling tapes.
Yep.
So.
My parents, my dad swears to God by his VHS collection. We got 700 of them down there still in. And I'm like, "Dad, you probably got like 10 worth money, the rest are probably a quarter a piece."
But the thing is, if you have a working VCR, those things will play. A scratch ain't gonna ruin them. That's what was good about those. And
if your modern eyes,
cassettes, they were durable. They held up.
Again, like I was telling Comatose, when a cassette screwed up, I plugged it in and rewind. Yep. It was nice. You fry out your hard drive and you lose everything. Forget your password, and Lord Jesus, Apple's assholes about giving you your purchases back. Yep. And don't be fooled. If you buy a movie on Amazon or all them, you actually don't own it either. You'll only own it until Amazon no longer owns the rights, and then you no longer own that movie you spent $20 on. Keep that in mind when you buy digital copies. Yeah. Hence, I buy physical copies.
One of the very few left.
But you guys need to get up on that. Start buying more physicals. Like I love the digital age, but get out of that. Go back to the Stone Age on some of this stuff.
And it's awesome that people still support it, because as artists, we have to put studio time. If we don't own the equipment, you got to rent it. We get pennies on the pennies per stream, so it's a good avenue that we have to do. But a physical copy, that's $5 or $10 in our pocket.
And I am going to reiterate: if you are going to buy digital, do it on Bandcamp. They get a better percentage from Bandcamp. Bandcamp loves to do fee-free Fridays for these artists, so they make a good portion of their money off of Bandcamp. These other places, you're paying corporates for something that you can go and talk to the dude and get a physical copy in your hand. And if you really talk to him, he'll send you a digital copy.
I was gonna say, And that was one thing I was adamant about on our last album is Mr. Ed wanted to do. So basically what we did is we did a small run of digital copies that basically you bought the album cover as a sticker.
Yep.
So you could download it.
I think that's
But
the one
then I was
there.
like, we have to do regular CDs too because people still do buy physical, and I'm old school like that. I like having a physical copy.
And I mean, I still, again, Comatose is coming out with a cassette later on in October, and I've already pre-ordered it.
That's awesome.
You know, it's a cassette, brings me back to my childhood. Again, you know, the nostalgia really gets people too, guys. You got to remember that.
Comeback too, because everybody's going with the vinyl's coming back. People are, you know, companies are making small record players.
The
now.
first vinyl I bought was done by Surreal with Small Town Bacon, Big Mista, Kid Corduroy, DJ Maddox, and M3's on it. There's quite a few people on that little vinyl. And it was the first one I've ever bought. I've never bought a vinyl. I've never owned a vinyl player.
Yeah.
You know, I've never messed with it. I bought it for other people.
I said we've had record machines growing up, but it never had needles. So it has a really cool sound, and it's different than you can get on a digital. But
Story about why I don't get to listen to vinyl. One time I did try to scratch one of my dad's vinyl and got my ass scratched for that. So I was never allowed to touch it growing up. Cool story about vinyl. Tommy Bolin is a guitarist from Sioux City.
Oh, yeah.
My dad's been mowing my yard for me since I broke my thumb. And I found a really good deal on a vinyl of the last live concert of Tommy Bolin, a special edition for like $40. And so I was like, I put it on my Amazon card. Dad, I took some hits on my credit points for you. You're lucky. I love you. But it's just a way for me to... My dad still actually listens to vinyl and loves vinyl. Yeah. And this is... my dad's older brother actually grew up with Tommy Bolin. He was a guitarist for Deep Purple, the James Gang Band, had his own thing going. And I thought it was so cool that they just pressed this vinyl, you know. And, and so I was like, cool. So I said something to my dad about vinyl. He's like, who the hell still makes that? I was like, well, I got you one. What?
That's awesome.
But, you know, that's, again, music is... My dad absolutely does not like rap music, but he thinks this is the coolest thing in the world because it involves music. And my dad has always been big on music growing up.
Yeah.
Like, my dad has always understood music can make you feel better.
And that's the coolest thing is, like, my parents don't like rap music. They don't really get into it, but hey, they've always given us a platform to express, whether it's I want to dye my hair blue in high school. My mom, do it, but you got to pay for it. I'll do it, you buy the stuff. So they've always done it. Like when I make merch, my mom's usually one of the first ones to buy something. She's even helped me hand tie-dye t-shirts before. She don't come to any shows. She don't like the music, but she'll support me in that way.
That's awesome. And that's cool that you have a support system like that. Because that's super important. And that's one of the reasons why I support a lot of these artists the way I do, because they don't, even their own parents and family don't support them like that. That's why it's important for you guys to support each other. You know, it's important for us to support these artists because not everybody is blessed like Mr. White here and have awesome parents that support them. Like, you know, my mom, if you don't know my mom yet, trust me, you will. She's totally into the scene now. But she buys everybody's merch, you know, and she buys CDs or, you know, she's freaking ecstatic when one of you guys give her a CD. And then she learns the damn thing word by word. And if you haven't been noticing, I post Facebook posts of her jamming out to it in the car, like the British dude that does the karaoke thing. Because I just think it's funnier than shit.
I haven't got a chance to see it. I've been off Facebook most of the week because moving's been kind of a pain in my ass. So.
Oh. I had to move into this house by myself, bro. By myself because everybody I knew, we got pushed back so far, and then it was right around the first of the year. So everybody was out on vacation and shit. And nobody wanted to help, and it was snow. And thanks to my nephew, though. My nephew did help me. Shout out
I've had a little bit of help, so.
Yeah, he helped me with the real heavy shit, but most of the boxes and stuff I moved by myself. But I actually kind of made it easier bringing it all in small, because it was definitely a little more organized when I did it that way versus if I loaded up a truck and had 20 dudes here and then 700 boxes to go through.
Yeah.
Moving sucks, guys.
Yeah, it does.
It sucks. But again, it's so nice when you buy your own home and know it's yours, and when you do goofy shit to the walls, you're not gonna have to pay back a deposit. Your dumbass is gonna have to fix it. That's all right. I can fix anything. I've learned that. There ain't nothing I can't fuck up. I can't fix.
My job pays me to break stuff, so.
Oh, nice. The demo guy. He get lucky. Like I got paid once to help a buddy demo the inside of a house with his dad, and I got fired the next day because I demoed the one thing we weren't supposed to. I busted a hole in the fucking chimney. He said everything goes, so here I am for 3 hours whacking on this chimney. He was not happy about that.
Yeah, brickwork is not fun.
Oh man, it cost him a lot to fix that chimney. Sorry, Sherwin Palmer. I've learned that ash reaming you gave me. I learned lessons.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So we kind of learned about how you first got started. So when you upgraded to the computer, when did you start working more with professional equipment? Okay, so nobody here really says they had a professional album, but to me, when you actually took time to specifically engineer it, have the programs to mix and master it, and put full forth.
To be honest, I'm still learning all that. I go to people, like, I am not afraid to pay for studio time if it's something I can't do. Just think, like...
Shout out Sam Roca, I know you've helped a couple of them.
He actually, on our Offensive album, we recorded a couple tracks there. He did the artwork. Tara did the photos. Sam made the collages. And then he mixed and mastered that whole CD. With our latest one, Chucky, Mr. Red, he did all of the mixing, mastering, and
nice.
Then we went to a website and got some art drawn. But we started kind of dicking around making music or talking about making music in like 2006 when we were still juniors in high school. It wasn't probably until our senior year that we went up. Jeremy from Lyrical Front introduced us to Dustin Matson.
Back to front.
And we used to go out to his house in Villisca, and I was obviously the one with the license, so I would...
Murder House.
I would drive everyone there, and we would set up times to record. And it wasn't the best. We sucked. We were terrible. We didn't know what we were doing. We had a hard time staying on beat. But we wrote. We had concepts. We used to kind of emulate, Insane Clown Posse, because we'd backyard wrestle. That's what we listened to. So we started out doing horrorcore music and trying to do that vibe, and then it wasn't until probably about 2009 after I got divorced that we really got back into it and actually made an album. And then with the first two we just kind of put out there, gave away physical copies around town and stuff like that, so it wasn't anything fancy because our first album we stole every beat. Second one we bought EJ Studios, cheap $50 computer program, and started trying to make beats, but we never built in hooks. We didn't really grasp the concept, and we're just now starting to build really good hooks. So it's been a long time, and we're still learning.
But it's always an evolving process.
Yeah.
We
finally got Pro Tools a couple years ago because it used to be Acid Music Studio because all we could afford was hand-me-down PCs, but we couldn't afford an actual
real one,
like legitimate program. So we just found what was in our budget and figured out how to use it to the best of our ability, or we paid for studio time.
And again, see guys, not all these guys selling you beats and studio time are taking advantage of you, nor does that mean your skills below. That's just helping you get to the next level. Because if you can get a beat and a song engineered by somebody else with you going over it, then when you bring that home and re-listen to it, you're like, oh, this is what I need to do in my own stuff.
Yeah, and people that talk about not wanting to invest, it's an investment because you might know how to do it, but you might not know how to do it as good. And I used to want to be the behind the scenes. I'm more of the shake hands, meet people person. I don't have the patience anymore after having kids and stuff. I just don't have the patience to sit there for hours on end and listen to something repetitive. So you're paying for that time for them to do that.
Yep.
And then they know the shortcuts, so they can do it a lot quicker because you don't want to spend 2 hours, 4 days, however long it may be to get your sound, and you're always going to be your worst critic. So it's never going to sound right to you.
And you're always going to reject it.
Yeah.
But then when somebody else hands you something, and it could be the exact same thing you would have made, you'd be like, damn, that's fire.
Yep. Because you just listen to it so much, and I don't know. I think I'm I don't know if I'm in the minority or not, but I hate the sound of my own voice. But I enjoy doing music, so that's why I do it.
Welcome to my. I can't rewatch episodes like, and I've had a couple guys that are like, "Oh, dude, your voice sounds pretty cool, dude. We need to get you on a CD." I said, "No, fuck you. I sound like a redneck, you know, like."
Well, I do need to get you on a CD, but it's going to be in the writer's aspect. Cause...
I can do that. The whole, and again, guys, like Mr. White said, it's an investment in yourself. You know, if you want to do things, you got to invest in yourself. And what's a great way to do that? Selling merch. I mean, I got a backpack, a hat, a stocking cap, and again, I got a couple badass night lights, bro. Lyrical front, back to front. You know, hashtag me too. Like, merch game, guys. I've dumped a bunch of money on merch. Why? Because it's important. For one, it helps me promote you guys.
Well, I think it's cool having something tangible, because I remember going to shows and buying stuff, you know, whether it be a t-shirt, a CD, you know, you have the experience, but to have something to show off is really cool.
How many times do you guys go see a national act or a world act and spend $35 on a t-shirt that they've already made millions and billions of dollars off? And the artist probably hardly sees any of that money anyways.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? On a tour that you already paid $75 a ticket for. So now you're selling out $100 and something on a shirt and a ticket. Then knowing you guys, you're probably going to buy 10 beers at $8 a piece. You know, and you rather do that than, again, I'm going to go back to fucking Garth Brooks. 93,000 of you cocksuckers swarmed that sweaty, nasty ass place to watch the world's shittiest country singer and probably bought a bunch of fucking beer and merch. But Lord Jesus, dropping $10 on a physical CD for a starving artist, okay, they're not starving, they have real jobs. But for somebody that could really use that little bit of ego boost and that little bit of positive mental health backing, you'd rather give it to some cocksucking shitty pop country singer? Like, fuck Garth Brooks. Again, only good song he did was covered by Smoke Break in my backyard.
Actually, but since you're on a tangent about Garth Brooks, so my older sister went to the concert.
So did mine.
And she was all, I'm at Garth Brooks, so of course, me being the smart ass I am, I just like, I sent her a text like, I hope he only does his Chris Gaines stuff. Because obviously I got a shit talk a little bit.
Compose yourself, Adam. But again, merch is an awesome way to market yourself. See, I used to be the guy that would rather go to the concerts and drink, and now that I don't drink, I'd rather buy merch. But again, I was that idiot that would go to a national act and spend a bunch of money buying shit from somebody that didn't give a shit, and then go to a local show and be like, oh, you don't want to give me a free CD? You suck.
Well, and the cool thing about our scene is back in the day, almost nobody had merch. And a lot of people are getting merch, and like most of my older stuff, I'd go to mom and pop shops in the next closest small town and try to get them made that way. And when they closed down, I mean, I bought a vinyl cutter and a heat press. It's not the longest lasting, but I started making my own merch. And I know Marcus makes a lot of merch, so
shout out to Merch by Marcus.
He's started making a lot of stuff for local artists, and everyone has merch now. So you're not only supporting the artist you're buying it, but you're supporting local businesses or local artists in that aspect.
If you haven't noticed, one of the recurring themes here, most of the local acts do it locally. Whether or not they outsource it to another local guy that does it. Sometimes A.G. Strange, his aunt helps him with his shirts and stuff. Yeah. You know? Again, you get help making your merch. I know Jen helps a lot. Like, so, you know, these guys put a lot of effort into this stuff. You know, it's not just like, sure, some things they get custom made and, you know, stuff like that. But some of that stuff's really cool merch. Like, I got a dope ass book bag. I mean, 3 things behind his head is his merch. I mean, where's your merch at on my walls? I mean, you guys need to come up on it. Like, I got tons of shirts, you know, and don't get me wrong, I love shirts, guys, but
some of those cool little
unique
things
pieces.
And that's what we usually look for. We always try to look for either something that's going to be small that we can do cheap, because we do understand
Exactly.
people are in the same boat as us. They don't have a lot of exposable income.
You went through Marcus and got lighters made.
Yeah, I got lighters made.
And they're 2 for $5 or something.
Yeah.
You know, and they're lighters. So you buy 2 for $5. You use one and you keep one for a display.
I
Cool
mean,
little
as long as you don't
unique
beat them up,
pieces.
you can use it and then display it when it's empty.
Yeah,
That's
you know,
what's awesome about stuff like that.
like they're just unique little pieces of merch that go along with your nightlights.
Yeah.
To me, that's one of the coolest things ever. They're not like the most sophisticated nightlight in the world, but you know what? My mom, the headphones with the I support local music, I gave it to my mom,
Oh, nice.
and she rocks the hell out of it. The Batcave logo one, my son rocks every night.
Well, that's the cool thing. Like what we've always done.
So they're actually usable, but they're also cool local.
Almost all of our logos were done by either local artists or friends that just know how to draw.
Yeah,
So-
and that's the other thing too, guys. Again, like just what he said, the graphic art designs that go locally through. Again, Sam Roca, Comatose, did some work for Offensive.
Yeah,
Right.
he did all the album artwork and
You know, so when you're buying these physical copies, you're not just supporting the artists themselves, but everybody involved in the project. And there's a lot behind it. Because again, like you said, not everybody does everything hands-on.
yeah.
So when they involve all these other local guys, it's even more of a beautiful thing when you buy them and start looking at the back of them. Like again, I knew Mr. White prior to the majority of you guys, even prior to Sam Roca and Mike Fantastic and Strawstone and Devin Ulrich. The only people I knew prior to meeting Mr. White was Surreal, AP, and Big Dog. You know, so kind of do the math on that, and through you I discovered Lyrical Front and Microphone Elements, and lo and behold, you know, I find out that Sam Roca's Dirty Little Fingers, who I'm obsessed with. Sam's the fucking man. You know, like I got a little obsession with him, but like it's just cool how it all comes back to a nice tight knit scene we have.
Yeah, I was to say, I used to book shows. That's how I kind of got into booking shows. I used to book my tattoo artist, bought a venue down in Hamburg. Had a really dope sound. The venue was just an old Masonic temple. They built an elevated stage, so I cut my teeth booking shows there just because people wanted birthday shows through them. I was like, okay. I did that for like 4 years straight, and I used to call Sam about February every year. Hey, I got this date. I want to do a Halloween show. And I'd book him 9 months out, if not longer, just because.
It's Sam.
Yeah, and you want the best if you're gonna do a Halloween show. So Sam's the best when it comes to horrorcore, man.
And he's just a phenomenal human being. That's why.
Yeah, the what the fuck video I did with Dick. We had Sam down for show, so we worked out a deal. All right, you're already gonna be here. He filmed that live and then edited that music video. It's the only video I've ever done outside of trying to do one in high school that I lost the DVD on.
And he filmed and edited Foul Uprising and stuff, you know.
Yeah,
and
he's
he
done
does a
some
lot.
Lyrical Fronts videos, like.
And see, when you support these other artists, you're not just supporting them. It all comes back to. We can almost play 7 Ways to Sam Roca too, you know, just like 7 Ways to Surreal. And it's just amazing how once you start kind of pulling back the curtain and looking in, you see, oh damn, everybody's connected.
Funny surreal story. So, it would have been when Dustin was still doing stuff as Arson Trait, getting into hip hop right before the Principles and all that. So they did a show at Sokol Underground, or they might have been up top. I think it was the Underground, and they were all out there freestyling. I was like, yeah, we do music, and then freestyle. I was like, well, we don't do that because I can't freestyle to save my life. Well, if my hair grows out long, it gets poofy, it's all curly, and it was dyed. Oh, it was dyed red at one point, but it faded, so it's this really ugly orange. And of course, I had an old white Buick car that I did. So then they all just, I want to sign your car. Okay. So I ended up having this mural on the hood, and my mom got so pissed because the permanent marker wouldn't come out. But they were freestyling out. The punchline that stands out is he said when Carrot Top got a dye job or something like that. It was either
shit.
really bad orange or it was when it was really faded green at one point. But that was my meeting of Surreal, is he just started signing my car and stuff. And I was like, okay, whatever. So then every artist on the bill signed my car.
That's awesome. Shout out Surreal. He's another true one. Like,
Yeah.
Like, in fact, he's the one that inspires Sam to do Studio C. So again, it all comes back to Surreal for the most part. He does so much wonderful things for this scene, and it's just amazing. So we dive through where you're from, when you got started, some backyard wrestling, found out some of your influences, found out how you got into the local scene. Let's dig into some upcoming projects.
All right, well,
because I know you started getting into doing DJing and
yeah. So basically, we want to start working on a new BMW album, but it's just so hard getting them because, like, with work and whether they lose a little bit of passion here and there. So that's why Lord Four Eyes was not really on this last album. His art wasn't in it. Or okay, well, we'll give you every opportunity we can, but when you don't show up to the studio, we're just going to go on without you. And same with Mr. Red, he wasn't on Offensive, so I really did 2 BMW albums with each different guy, but there's 3 of us in the group collectively. But when they don't want to do it, that's why every album has some kind of solo song on it from me. It's because if they don't want to do it, I still write if I have an idea, or I'll still make music. And for a while, the studio's in my house, so I'll just make songs when I did to. And then that's how the Mr. White kind of is more known than the Black Market Warriors, because they took like a 2-year break. But I'm working on the first full-length Mr. White solo album, rather than just putting some songs on it. And I'm going to feature a lot of local acts and try some different genres and stuff like that.
Because I know you got a couple singles out on...
yeah, so Conform, I actually had to put on our Black Market Warriors page.
Yep. Because
I did not make a Mr. White page at the time, and so I had to remix and master a song called Love Struck that I did, it was probably in 2009, 2010. But it was a song I really enjoyed. I thought it turned out really well. So then I released that as a single to get the Mr. White page started for the album.
Yep.
So, and Sam actually did the artwork for that too.
Nice. See, again, it all comes back.
Yeah, and then I'm cutting my teeth in DJing, just kind of breaking in because I own my own PA, because a lot of the shows there for a while, I was just booking my own shows, so I own a PA system.
I know that because you brought it to my house and we had a nice show in the backyard.
And so I figured since I have the equipment, I invested in a board, so I really don't know how to run it very well. I've only done a couple weddings and stuff like that, but I figured if I have the stuff, I might as well utilize it, so I'm going to start cutting my teeth and doing some DJing on the side just to get the practice, because I enjoy doing music.
Yeah, and again, that's other aspects of the music world that once you learn them and get used to them, get your foot in the avenues you wouldn't be. I.e., after this interview, which is the reason he's in town, thankfully I was able to have him on it, he is actually DJing one of his first shows, which is nice. Yep. You know, shout out to Happy Face Entertainment. When people run into a bind and don't know, you guys don't be afraid to reach out to people. It doesn't hurt. I mean, I knew Devin was kind of stressing about a DJ, and I said, well, dude, Mr. White DJ'd my house, bro. Why don't you hit him up? You think he'd do it? I said, well, what's the worst he's gonna say?
Yeah.
Like, no is not a bad answer, guys. Like, I mean, unless it's followed by some other extreme words, then it might be a bad answer. But I mean, if they're really respectful and courteous about telling you no, don't think you got the door slammed in your face, because there's 90 other people you can go talk to.
And it's a good scene that's really getting built right now. It has its ups and downs, obviously, but I mean, like I said, I was still moving into my new house as of today, so I'm supposed to do a set. I don't even know if it's on my computer, but I got my DJ stuff because he needed a DJ. I was like, I'll figure out a way to make it work. So
he's like, you're not missing much if I'm not rapping, but I do got all the equipment.
So I made sure I got that, but I just, with time and stuff, it's like, the biggest thing is keep your word. That's the biggest thing. If you tell somebody you're going to do something, do it.
And I reiterate that a lot with you guys. When you bail on shows and no-show things, don't get hurt when people start asking for deposits. I mean, that's just a way to secure the fact that you're not going to pull the behavior again.
Yeah. Or you can benefit guys like me who cut my teeth. Hey, I have an opening, or this act can't make it, and I drive an hour to come do 10, 15 minutes set. Like, whatever, I ain't got nothing to do. I like performing. So either you're going to lose your opportunity or you're going to burn a bridge somewhere.
Yep, because like he said, there's people dying for some of them things, you know, and they'll drive an hour to come do it. 15-minute set just to come have some fun, you know, because again, you guys got to keep it fun for yourselves.
Yeah.
Like,
if it's not fun, it's not worth doing.
Like if you're taking it too serious as a local artist, you're already cutting it bad. Like your best bet is to have fun, and if you make it, you make it. If not, put a couple extra bucks in your pocket. Use it as a side job.
Yeah.
You know, but just have fun doing it. And again, Mr. White's probably one of the funnest fucking men you'll see on stage.
I can't rap, but I can definitely dance.
I am telling you, when he had all these people doing the Fat Boy dance that I never would have thought would be all getting into it, like he had a 60-year-old hippie in my yard all into the Fat Boy dance, and he don't like rap music. And that tells you, as long as you're having fun and engaging people, you can get people. And he's a good friend of mine, and he doesn't like rap music, and he only showed up because he wanted to see what it was about. And his favorite act was Mr. White, because Mr. White was so much fun. Like, my mom fell in love with him, my sister, everybody, my neighbors loved him, because the energy and the amount of fun he was having. It was, again, you guys don't always have to, like, if you're doing trap rap, stuff like that, you know, get into it. Have feeling with it. You know, those aren't fun songs, but get into it and show feeling. Mr. White does fun songs, so he's feeling it.
And that's kind of where I get into with Lord Four Eyes. He likes writing more of that serious stuff. His influences are a little different than mine. He likes more of the wordplay and the messages. And it's like, yeah, those are album songs. Because he hates the Fat Kid dance.
Oh, yeah.
He hates it. And one of our songs that went organically is a Goofy song, Oh No. And it's just goofy, we have fun, we act it out on stage. And he doesn't actually like those. He likes the lyrical ones. But I'm like, they're paying their money to come see you. So when you're up there, it's Dance Monkey Dance. You're there to entertain them. Have fun while you're doing it. Because if you're not having fun, then you're just going to look like an asshole, and they're not going to engage with you.
That's right. Because remember, guys, it's not about what you want. It's about what the consumers want. Not everybody likes snakes and sparklers.
So that's what I always tell them. You have album songs and you have live songs. Your sad songs, and if it's a political song or a song that feels like you're preaching to someone to get a message across, those are album songs in my opinion.
Unless it fits in the vibe of the tour or the concert.
Yeah, because certain aspects, but
you know, if you're on a political show,
yeah, and chances are a lot of times when you go to a show, they're not listening.
They're just there to have fun.
They're either already drunk, working on getting drunk. They're there to see their friends. You're just the filler gap,
or they're out on their smoke break.
Yeah, that's true too. So, really, you do the songs that are going to keep their attention.
And trust me.
Or you do something on stage to keep their attention on you.
The one guy that gets on stage that you think is going to get everybody to walk away is the one guy that really captures a lot of attention.
Appreciate that.
And that's one thing that I will, for the life of me, continue saying. Ever since the first time I seen you perform, that is what drew me on. Again, I seen him open for Little White, and Little White sucked ass, and I'll never see that fucking garbage act again. But, again, the blessing from that, Mr. White, best act on the show. Was he the best rapper? Probably not at all. But I'll tell you what, the guy engaged everybody. I felt wanted there. I felt welcomed. I felt like I was there to party and have fun and have a good time and let loose and fuck everything else. And then when Little White took the stage, I felt like he didn't even want to fucking be there for my $25. Yeah. You know? Like you played like you were making $100 a ticket there. You know what I mean?
And that's another thing I would stress to artists breaking in. Don't let the crowds determine how you're going to perform. Because I've seen people come into shows and there's only 10 people there and they have some reason, or they'll just straight up say, I'm not doing it, and they leave. I've showed up to support other acts, and I've gotten thrown on rock shows because they had a band cancel. So take a set with you everywhere you go, if you have the capability to do so, because you can always get thrown on shows because people love to no show.
That's a reiteration from our Two Strikes interview. keep a USB, an organized USB on you.
Yeah, if you do music, I would keep one specifically for set lists.
Like they're $5, $10.
Yeah.
Keep it on your keychain. But don't be the dude going up there asking if you can get on.
Yeah.
Trust me. Don't be that guy.
You just got to keep an eye on the promoter, because if you see him stressing out, it means somebody probably didn't show up. That's when you go, hey, everything good? These acts canceled. I got a set if you have time, if you need an opener. Don't be afraid to open. Sometimes opening, you get the biggest crowds.
I got a band tattooed on me, Arrested Youth, and they're always the opener, and they got a song about being the opener. But the funny thing is, I've never stayed to watch the headlining act that they came with.
I mean, I take it as a compliment. I've done some shows for some other people, and I think I did 3 or 4 shows with this person. They came up, and I know you opened last time.
But honest to God, Mr.
Would
White,
you open because you could just get the crowd hyped up? And I was like, not a problem.
You're probably the best
I took that as a
opening
compliment.
act. Like, you can close, you can play middle set, you can do them all. But if it's kind of a dull crowd at first, you're the best opening act. Like, if you're getting a feeler on the crowd and you can tell they're kind of just lingering and moseying about and talking with each other and not really to get the show going, because, whatever. If they put you on as an opener, they might not catch it the first song, but within 2 songs, you got most of them guys watching the stage.
I appreciate that. But
Which is,
there's been times that I've performed for one person, and there's been times opening, I've had the biggest crowd of the night. So you're going to have your ups and downs, but I wouldn't take opening as a grain of salt. Like, having a headlining show is cool, but I've done some headlining shows, and sometimes you have the smallest crowd because they're so burnt out from partying too hard.
And don't forget, the closing act is not always the headliner. The headliner is whoever drew the most crowd.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. Like I'm
people
doing
get this
show,
in their head too hard. That
if I'm booking a show, if I'm paying for this act to come in and I have an agreement with that, well, if the biggest crowd is there at 10 o'clock and it's scheduled to go till 2, guess what? That act's going on at 10 o'clock and everyone else is getting pushed around them. Because if they're the headliner, when the crowd's the biggest, you got to put them in.
Yep.
But when you have smaller shows, I've also been that promoter that, all your friends came to see you. You're not going second anymore. Now you're going last. Because if all your friends are here to see you, well, they might as well see everybody else too. Yeah. So I've been that dickhead too.
Well, and that also reiterates the fact. Tell your friends to stay most of the show.
Yeah. Like,
it's not that hard to stay a majority of the show. You don't have to stay the whole show. I know some of these shows get drug out and they're long and whatnot. But, I mean, you can honestly at least pay attention to a couple shows. Like, seriously, guys, if you're going to get on your fucking phone, go outside the goddamn venue. Like, that's the rudest thing I've ever seen at a show, is when somebody's up there pouring their fucking art out to you, and you're sitting there texting on your phone on the fucking floor. Like, you want to be Facebook and not look and go do that shit outside.
See, those are the people when I do the fucking dance, I look forward to start
dancing. Well, and they get into you. That's the one thing.
They just get all this joy right up in their face.
Yep.
So.
and usually most of them put the phone down and jump in with you. But that's the thing, guys. Like, I get a lot of gaff for not taking pictures, but I also want to stay off my glowing screen at the fucking shows.
Yeah.
Like, if you're on the floor, if you're sitting back at the bar, that's one thing. But if you're out on the floor and you're getting on your phone and you're sitting there and you're doing shit that has nothing to do with the show, you're not checking in, you're not doing live feeds, nothing like that, get the fuck off the floor. That's rude. Like, if you don't want to give these guys your attention, just seriously, you're best off walking off the floor, because honestly, that shit's distracting to the artist. It can kill their vibe. Some people do get really upset about that.
Yeah, it's not about the quantity of people up on the stage. It's about
are
they having a good time? Because that's what we're there to do.
Because trust me, they'd rather have an empty venue than a venue full of people staring at their phones, because it's the same fucking thing, and it's a lot easier to look at an empty venue than a bunch of people that don't even want to give you, like, damn, this dude ain't good enough for you to even look at.
I wouldn't go that far, because like I said, I've done the booking aspect of stuff. You want people in there, whether they're watching or not. It sucks for the artist, but on the promoter's hand,
Well, on the
it
promoter's
works
hand,
good because if the if the venue's making money, then you can get another show there. So it might.
I'm not telling them not to go to the show. I'm telling them to take it outside or away from the floor.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Don't stand in front of the artist texting the whole time, guys.
But yeah, I was just trying to reiterate off that empty venue thing. I was like, no, it's not better. But Mr. Technical over here.
And again, it like me, I can't make every show, but I do buy tickets.
Yeah.
I do buy tickets to most shows. I haven't recently. I have an injury. I'm sorry, guys. But typically, most of you guys know I'll buy tickets from you until you do giveaways and shit. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I always, even if I'm not going to make a show, I buy tickets for the show just because even ticket sales help get the venue back. Even if because for one, you're not losing much on drink sales. If I'm not there, I don't drink.
Yeah.
No offense, guys. I really try to support our bars. I do buy like a Coke and a Red Bull. I spend $20 on 2 Red Bulls and 1 Coke. Do the math on how much I tip. You know, it's just, I don't drink. So honestly, I don't feel bad if I don't make it to a show as long as I bought a ticket.
Yeah.
Because to me, I can't support the venues by...
Yeah,
but I support the
still supporting the artists.
I still support the venues by sharing the events and telling people to go.
Yeah.
And again, drink at the bars and tip your bartenders. You know, like the tipping of the bartenders is probably one of the most important aspects because if that bartenders tell their boss, it's a great night for us, chances are the boss is going to be like, man, them guys were an awesome crowd. Let's bring them back.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just my mentality on the tipping aspect.
Yeah, and with the bartenders, if I'm performing stuff, I don't drink as much as if I'm watching.
Again, guys, keep it professional on the alcohol and drug consumption when you're performing.
So I did a farm show, got super smashed. And it was the guy that ran the venue I was booking for, and I got so drunk I ended up just dancing on the stripper pole. Didn't remember any of my words. And he came up the next day and was just super disappointed in me. It was like one of that heart to heart that you're so let down on it because it's like I've seen you do some great shows and this was probably the worst thing I've ever seen you do in your life. So I don't get drunk before I go on anymore. I might have a couple beers here and there, but the thing I like to do for the bartender, since I don't drink as much, so I don't necessarily have tip. There's sometimes I only drink water, but after the show, if I stay to the end, I give every bartender a couple CDs. For working, I thank them for working the event, and I just give away a couple CDs to bartenders, whether they listen to them or not.
But they still show the gratitude towards them.
So.
And again, trust me, some of these bartenders are stoked to get merch and shit. Like, there's been a couple of them I gave them my stupid stickers for trampstampapproved and shit, and they were all stoked and, oh, dude, this is so cool, thanks, I appreciate it. And then I go by and they got it on their car, and it's a bartender at fucking Reverb. Shout out Jeremy, cool as fuck. He was just stoked as hell. So, there are guys that do get, stoked when you guys give them merch. And again, driving home that aspect, merch. How do you think he was able to buy a heat press and things like that? By investing in himself. And you can invest in yourself and recuperate the little bit you put in once you start selling.
Worst comes to worst, hopefully the merch can pay for itself. That way you're not coming out of pocket, so you can keep it stocked up.
That's why you buy merch too, guys. And sometimes if they're asking $15 for a shirt and you got a $20 bill, is it going to kill you to give them $20 and tell them don't dig around for $5? I mean,
and I don't know. Most people is like, I got $20, and if I don't have the change on me or something, I'm terrible about grabbing cash before show. I'm very forgetful. You want a CD too, or we got a $10 beanie, $20. I'll throw in this beanie. I got change for you. Or hang on a second, take their $20, go break it down and give them change.
Somebody got mad because I overpaid him one time for merch and made me take a bunch more shit. I'm just saying, like, he knows what I'm talking about. But that's the deal, though. You guys. I'm just saying, and I understand. Not everybody got a bunch of money and stuff, but if you can give a little bit, I'm just saying. Sometimes these artists really do appreciate it. Trust me, 99.9% of them, honest to God, probably feel like a real rock star when just one of you guys come up and ask to buy their shirt or their shirt, CD or whatever.
It is a great feeling.
And trust me, I see it when I do it to them. And trust me, I'm knowing. So when you unknowing fans do it, they really get stoked. like when I show up to a venue and one of my friends has on one of their shirts, that artist comes up and thanks me for my friend wearing their shirt because they bought it at the last show they were at, because that means that much to them. Yeah. You know, there's been probably 15 artists that have said that to me, like when my mom comes wearing their shirt, or my sister, or my wife, or I have, you know, my wife's cousin comes with me a lot, or my nephews, you know, and they'll wear their merch that they bought from the last show, and these guys just get such an overwhelming feeling. And I'm telling you guys, if that don't make you feel good buying a shirt and seeing somebody feel that good from it, you're a heartless bastard. Because, like, to me, that's why I enjoy supporting you guys, because I get to see how much it means to you to have support. Yeah. You know, and that's just an awesome feeling, guys. When you can make somebody feel good about something they're putting out there, it's well worth the effort. It's I mean, come on, guys. I know some of you guys have wasted a lot of money on a lot of stupid shit. Just saying, support goes a long way. Not even monetary support. I mean, some of you guys need to share a lot more fucking flyers and posters and stuff. I mean,
yeah, but as artists, a lot of us are bad about it too. I mean,
well, and that's what I mean. It's not just fans. There's artists watching this. That's you guys too. You guys, I mean, I don't fuck with so and so because they don't fuck with me. Well, who the fuck cares? Nobody fucks with me, and I fuck with everyone. You know what I mean? Like, if I took that mentality, I wouldn't support 90% of you guys. But that's not, I mean, that's a shit poor attitude. Yeah. You don't fuck with me, I don't fuck with you. Fuck you, kill him with kindness. Why'd that go out of style? Like, I had a guy tell me he didn't want me sharing his music. So guess what? I shared the fuck out of it. He's still on my Facebook. He sees me share his shit. I go to his page and share it right off it. He knows I shared it. You know, but he hasn't deleted me, but he told me he didn't want me sharing his shit. Whatever.
That's the weirdest story I've ever heard.
Oh, it was a weird flex. Oh. It was a weird flex. But, you know, that's because people think that I pick sides, and I don't. There's no, I'm on the music side, guys. I support every one of you, unless you're a complete douchebag, and you guys know who you are. I don't need to name you. Everybody knows who you are. But, so, fuck, I think we touched every basis I touched without even having to ask questions. I love interviewing guys like this because it's just a natural flow of fucking where things went. So, I like to finish up with a couple questions. The one I've been doing the longest is what I call our dream collab. You got 3 people you can pick to do a collaboration with. Any genre of music. I know you like to mess around. Again, you're one of the cool guys that rap over guitar, and I love that just because I'm more into rock than hip-hop and rap.
All my friends that I've met through music that I'm like actually close personal friends with, a lot of them are either in a rock cover band or a rock group or started out doing rock. So it's available.
Oh, yeah.
Plus, live guitar sounds awesome.
It always does. Like, it sings to you. My guitar gently weeps. But so, they can be living, dead. Shit, I'll even throw in make-believe characters. That's a new one, guys.
I guess for me, one person I would always love to do something with would be Freddie Mercury, because I think he's got the greatest voice in music. I don't know how it would turn out, because our styles are really, really clashing, because, I mean, he's awesome and I'm not so much. But, I think it'd be cool to do a song with him just because his range. I guess ICP, because that's kind of what got me into music, would be a really cool collab. And then I want to say Coolio, because it's the first rap album I ever bought.
I remember when my dickhead brother did a cover of Gangsta Paradise when he was in 6th grade.
See, I couldn't remember nursery rhymes. I used to sing whatever I could remember of that to my kid when he couldn't fall asleep.
Oh, that's awesome.
I don't know nursery rhymes worth of shit. So.
Oh, that is great. I like that. I like that. That's really dope. All right. So then, for the final question, it's kind of been a newer one I've been doing. Again, a Christopher Columbusist from Conan O'Brien, or not Conan O'Brien. Fucking Steve Colbert. He did it. You get stuck listening to one song for the rest of your life. What is it?
Fuck, that's a tough one because I like a lot of songs. Probably be Twisted's "We Don't Die." I can just that song is
Whoa.
that song I can never skip. It's just one of those. It's one of those songs. There's a handful of those songs.
And that got kind of a metalish vibe to it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's probably one of the first Twisted songs outside of House of Crazies I liked.
Which is weird because they re-released a lot of their House of Crazy stuff after they had a couple studio albums.
Well, the problem is it didn't sound the same.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like when Marilyn Manson redid all of his spooky children shit. It does not, same lyrics, same everything, but it doesn't sound
It doesn't
the
have
same.
that grinding vibe.
Key example, Regional at Best by 21 Pilots was actually their second album, but then they signed, and so they took 75% of Regional at Best and redid them. And the 75% they redid sucked, and the 25% they didn't redo, they never released to the
I
studio.
don't listen to a whole lot of 21 Pilots, but
I listen to a lot of music.
we did. We were doing. There was a party, Halloween party that I was going to, and Josh Wigg, the one's going to be on the new album that does the Day Drinking song with me.
Yep.
Their band was performing, and he's like, "Oh, you rap?" Because I mean, obviously in Red Oak, a lot of people don't rap. So I had to actually learn the rap parts to Heathens to do it during their set. And I'm going to blow up fucking sumo suit doing this thing. But then there was one time I took my kid to a show and I did a whole costume and a Woody costume that was too small. So everything's just hanging out. But when your kid says wear this costume, you wear the damn costume. So.
That is great. And that's good number one rule as a father. You do as your kids say when it comes to costumes, because I normally don't get to pick mine either.
Yeah.
You know, it's what are you gonna be for Halloween? Whatever my kids pick. Like, I don't get a choice anymore. I'm a dad. I got like another 8 more years before I get to be back to my life. So, we talked upcoming projects. Anything else you want to mention before we wrap up?
Yeah, book me, guys. I'm bored. I need shit to do.
Book them, book them, book them. That's, if you can't find Mr. White on Facebook, just hit me up. I'll shoot you his information.
Okay. Either Mr. White or Black Market Warriors, Facebook, Spotify, Apple Music, all that stuff. It's on everything, Pandora. Yeah.
Merch website.
Don't have them.
Oh, you didn't get it up and running?
Go to Black Market Warriors page. I didn't pay to change the name yet, so it should just be the Shop Now button. It's at Spring Tea, and it's just a handful of stuff that I can't physically make myself. So it gives you the option. It is going to be a slower turnaround because they make it as it's ordered. But I ordered myself a cup just to test it out, and it's pretty good stuff.
So Black Market Warriors Facebook page. Click the shop. Go to the merch page. Or directly DM him. He got a bunch of stuff on hand that he makes too.
Yeah.
So, with that note, Mr. White, I want to sincerely thank you. You've been one of my all-time favorites in this scene. So it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. I mean, I was really stoked for this. I'm glad I was able to get this opportunity. Kind of wanted you on a little earlier, but we had some family issues, moving issues. You living so far away. It's okay.
We can figure it out.
But
I told you I'd do it.
We got it figured out. We got it done. And I want to thank you for being on the Mountain Dew review. And you are officially tramp stamp approved.
Appreciate it.
So I don't get to send you home with anything.